girlfriend wants to have guy friends and do things alone with them. I told her this is a deal breaker for me in a relationship. Original post. So I was dating a woman for a bit. I broke up with her over this about a month ago and fell really deeply in love with her. She was perfect in almost every way, and I really enjoyed and cherished the time we spent together. She told me she has guy friends, which I don't really care about at all. But then she hits me with this. We travel and go on vacation together sometimes. I told her I don't care if she has friends who are guys, but going out and doing things alone with them, including things such as vacations, is not something I'm willing to accept in a woman I have a relationship with. She then freaks out and suggests I'm trying to control her and that I don't trust her. I explained that I do trust her at the moment, but I don't trust men. Later on, she texts me that she's in a full-blown PTSD crisis because I'm trying to control her like her ex-husband. I explain I'm not trying to control her and she has her own choices to make, but I can't accept her going on vacations with other men and stand firm on my boundaries. She then accuses me of crossing her boundaries. Then she shifts to explaining that she sometimes goes to tech conferences with other men, a totally different story from what she explained earlier about going on vacations with another woman's husband, and she's totally okay with it because they trust each other 100%. Then she says they don't share a hotel or anything. They just meet up at conferences. This is a different story because they apparently did share the same hotel, even if it wasn't the same room. I'm not jealous of the vacationing ability. I make a lot more money than both her and her friend combined, so that's something we could do. But she still wants to go on those vacations with guy friends. This stuff all happened before I met her, but at this point, I no longer had any trust in her due to mounting red flags, and the value of her relationship with her in my eyes dropped considerably. So I called off the relationship respectfully and left. And apparently, I caused her some serious PTSD trauma, and I'm an a-hole. Am I wrong? Now for the top comments before reading the update. We all have boundaries and things that are deal breakers. She's allowed to have boundaries, and so are you. You're both adults, and she's free to do as she pleases. She's free to go on trips with other men, and you're free to say you're not okay with it and it's a deal breaker. I don't understand how one person can have a boundary they don't want crossed, but then to the other person, it's controlling, and you have to be okay with it. Do what you want, and I'll do the same. And if that means I'm leaving if you go on trips with other guys, so be it. He's not crossing any of her boundaries by not wanting her to go on vacation with another man. She's bastardizing the word boundary as some sort of childish attempt to win an argument that shouldn't even be a question for most couples. I've seen a lot of boundary talk on this sub, and I think it tends to be used in a weird way sometimes. And in my opinion, it's all part of the growing individualism in some cultures and the loss of true human interactions and healthy dependability. If people want to be single, be single. If people want to be in a relationship, it's not always a boundary when your partner expects the relationship to actually be a relationship. There are boundaries, and then there's, I'll treat this like a relationship when it benefits me and me only. Are we talking about conferences or vacations? Meeting up with male friends at conferences is normal and acceptable to me. Going on vacation, on the other hand, is unusual and the sort of thing that inherently is going to cause suspicion. Vacationing alone with another man is intimate. Attending a conference isn't. I don't care about conferences at all, or the male friends, and I explain this. The problem I have is like her going to actual vacations with another dude. No, just no. Yeah, if this is a boundary that she's not willing to commit to, then you are right to just not progress in the relationship. This won't work for you, especially with all of her anger. She's blaming you for not putting up with her. You don't have to. You're not married. If this is something you can't deal with, then you can't deal with it. End of story. You're not telling her that she can't do it. What you're telling her is she can do whatever she wants, but you don't want to be a part of it, and that's your right. To be fair, she isn't the angry type. She's super sweet. I didn't see any anger, just sadness and anxiety, stuff I can deal with. Well, you may be able to deal with it now, but just think how it's going to be if you were to marry her and have children. Her sadness and anxiety are never going to go away. If she gets pregnant, it'll get worse. Those are things you have to decide whether or not you're willing to put up with for the rest of your life. I would not suggest it. I married someone who had depression, anxiety, etc. During our marriage, I always thought it was me. I now realize it wasn't. However, when you're in the middle of that situation and you want to help, it doesn't work out. They end up cheating on you and blaming you. They blame you for being sad. They blame you for being upset. They blame you for all of that. She may be sweet, but obviously not as sweet as you think, because she doesn't feel that she should have to abide by your boundaries. There's no reason you can't be friends. I'm not saying to just blow her off, but you need to look at what you want for your life. This comment hit me like a ton of bricks. Damn, I need to stop trying to fix people. Now for the update. I know a lot of y'all said things like, she's crazy, she sounds nuts, etc. Honestly, I don't believe she is crazy. Mental health is a serious issue, and we shouldn't ostracize those who are sick. While I do know she had mental health problems, I do as well. We both suffered from PTSD, and I believe that, yes, she is telling me the truth about having PTSD. Do I think she's weaponizing it? Maybe, but it didn't seem like a conscious effort. She did try to manipulate me several times, but I chalked this up to her being very insecure, and we actually talked through it maturely. She is a beautiful and genuine person, both inside and out, but we aren't compatible. I've had enough experience with girls who date guy friends to set this as a boundary for myself, to avoid women like that. I need to be with someone who has enough agency to realize it's not a great idea to be vacationing with other straight men while in a committed relationship if the other partner is not comfortable with it. Look, everyone has problems, and nobody is perfect. She is free to live her life the way she wants, and I am free to do the same with my own life. I wish her the best, and I really hope she finds her other half. Next story. I, 34 female, am thinking of just never coming back after Christmas to my boyfriend, 31 male. I have been with my boyfriend for almost 6 years. 2 years ago, we had a conversation where I made it clear that I didn't want to wait more than 5 years for a proposal. At the time, we were living in France, and I was hoping for a proposal while we were there. It never came. We moved back to the US and got an apartment. I thought he'd eventually propose soon. We were coming up on our 5-year anniversary and the renewal of our apartment lease. At this point, I had left Europe for him. Before that, I had put off opportunities and waited for him to finish his PhD. When he talked about renewing, I said I would no longer enter any contracts with him without a proposal. He promised a proposal, and now it's been 9 months since that conversation. Now I live in a city that is very expensive, far from any family or friends, for a job he took. It's hard on my job, which is remote in a different time zone, and it's starting to affect it. We are now getting closer to our 6-year anniversary with no proposal. I sat him down and was straightforward. I told him that if he didn't want to get engaged, that's fine, but I'd like to move back closer to family and just make a break of it. He told me he had a ring and wanted to get married 100%, but hadn't found the right time to ask. I told him that being tricked into waiting this long, past when I set a timeline, was really making the whole thing unappealing in general, and that I never wanted to drag someone into doing it. I said I live in one of the most expensive cities in the world for him, have no friends or family here, and now apparently I have a boyfriend who won't even propose despite everything. He promised and even went and got the ring he bought. I didn't see it, just the box, and said he'd do it right then. I said no, he had plenty of time to plan a proper one. He promised to do one. I didn't say anything to that. It's been over 2 months since then, and we are traveling to his hometown for Thanksgiving. His hometown is beautiful, and he had planned a trip to the scenic area. I thought he might do it, but I asked if he was going to get a haircut the day before we left, and he said, "No, why?" He looks like a mess right now. I realized then it wasn't happening. I was planning to go home for Christmas early, mid-December, he knows this, and come back right after Christmas. I'm thinking about just not coming back. I know I'm going to get the array of, "Me and my husband took X amount of time, and I'm glad I waited," or "If you really loved him, you'd see it through." But I'm thousands of miles from anyone who cares about me, with no friends. I left an amazing life in Europe to stay with him. It's ruining my job. It's breaking my bank to live in the city he had to move to for work. I'm depressed, I'm lonely, and as far as I can tell, not worth respecting a timeline for a proposal. I've told a small number of people, and some think it's a shame because my boyfriend is so great. So would you leave? Yes or no? Now for the comments before reading the update. Sounds like you already know the answer. Time to leave. Does OP want to spend her life feeling like she had to push boyfriend into marriage? Next, he will delay the wedding, etc. OP deserves someone who adores her. The truth is, he doesn't want to marry her. If he wanted to, he would. 5 years is a long time to not have progressed to the next step, even if you're taking it slow. Your reasoning is that you are lonely, have no friends or family around, and your work and quality of life are suffering. I'm failing to see how a proposal would solve any of that. Miserable with a ring is still miserable. It'll just make it harder to leave. It sounds like you're constantly expected to make huge compromises for someone who rarely makes any for you. You would not be the a-hole, and frankly, I think you should leave him either way. Agree completely. This guy knows how OP feels. He has been told. He simply doesn't care. Either because he thinks OP will never leave, or because her feelings don't count, or both. I've come across similar stories many times. A woman who waits for a proposal for years, and when the relationship inevitably ends, the dude ends up very quickly engaged and married to the next woman they date. They always think the person they're with will put up with their crap. The fact is that the boyfriend isn't great. He's selfish. It's okay to not want to get married. What's not okay is stringing someone along, knowing they don't want what you want. I'd say OP should do what makes her happy. She's been doing everything according to what her boyfriend wants for so long that it's become an alien concept to make herself happy. But only OP can make that choice. Now for the update. Okay, so an enormous number of people have left comments and messaged me. 1. Lots of advice, opinions, and projections. Some good, but a lot of sexism too. Y'all are weird for that. 2. Why don't I propose? He has vehemently made it clear it's something he wants to do. It also doesn't solve the crux of the issue. 3. Me bringing up his lack of haircut is an indication that he had no plans to propose on this trip. He individually would not propose without cleaning himself up. That's a him thing, not a me thing. I don't care how he looks. 4. Many have told me I'm pathetic for believing in marriage. I'm very non-traditional in most ways. It's part of why this has gone on so long. I didn't put much weight into marriage until about 3 years in. This is an expectation I've communicated once it became important. He agreed on it, but didn't follow through. You can swap this with any expectation in a relationship that feels right and important to you. Be creative. On to the update, I suppose. I withdrew my application for marriage, for lack of a better description. I told him that it didn't seem like it was something he actually wanted to do, and that I didn't have an interest in being engaged to him any longer, as the prospect was wholly unexciting at this point, all while being at his parents' for Thanksgiving. It was awkward, obviously, but being there made it feel all the more ridiculous. Like, why am I here? Why am I talking about the dog we want with your mom? This isn't real because it's clearly not what you want. I'm playing a part. I played the part for the week. I also found tickets home and told him that I was going to see my family and start seeking out jobs that may or may not include him in my life. His reaction was very, qu'est-ce que c'est, Pikachu face? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a clean wrap-up on this, just a clean intent. Last story. Am I the a-hole for marrying a rich man and letting him do whatever he wants, including sleeping with other women? I, 25 female, grew up poor. My mom, 45 female, worked 2 jobs, and my sister, 23 female, and I had to help out from a young age. Life was tough, and I swore to myself that I would do whatever it took to escape poverty. A few years ago, I met my husband, 35 male. He's very wealthy, and while our relationship started with genuine attraction and love, his wealth was definitely a factor in my decision to marry him. He provides me with a lifestyle I never thought I could have. A beautiful home, luxury vacations, and financial security. We have 2 kids, a daughter, 3 female, and a son, 1 male. They mean the world to me, and being able to give them a life I never had growing up is incredibly important to me. But my husband sleeps with other women. He was upfront about it from the beginning, and while it hurt at first, I've come to terms with it. To him, it's purely physical, and he's always made me feel like the most important person in his life emotionally and materially. Recently, my mom and sister found out about his infidelities. They're furious and think he's taking advantage of me. They believe he's using his wealth to manipulate and control me, and they feel I'm sacrificing my dignity and self-respect for money. My mom cried, saying she raised me to value myself more than this, and my sister called him a predator who's exploiting my past struggles. From my perspective, I made a practical decision. I'm happy with the stability and comfort my marriage provides, and I don't see it as a loss of dignity. I chose to prioritize financial security for myself and my children. It's not like I'm being coerced or mistreated. My husband and I have an understanding, and it works for us. So, am I the a-hole for marrying a rich man and letting him do whatever he wants, including sleeping with other women, because I refuse to go back to being poor and want to provide a better life for my kids? This doesn't sound like infidelity since you knew about it. Also, you have decided that you like this arrangement especially since money seems like the most important facet of this relationship. So spend his money and let him bed who he wants, and tell your family that this is who you are. She better be saving some of his money. She'll get old and he'll want a younger woman one day. There is nothing wrong with OP being in a time-limited relationship, as long as she's smart about it. She needs to use those endless joint funds for a decent education and to help establish her own independent credit. Keep her body and personality healthy and in good shape. Build and strengthen those connections that only the truly wealthy can make. Get the kids into the right daycares and schools. Make sure their college funds are in an independent trust held outside of marital funds that can't be frittered away or severely depleted. Their relationship is sentimental, but also a business, so it's her job to make sure she's doing her side of the business. She can spend money now on ludicrous purses and eyelash extensions, or make a solid investment in her own future no matter how the chips may fall. If she doesn't, well, that's on her. He was honest all along. Not the a-hole. If you're happy with the arrangement and certain it's not gonna blow up in your kids' faces later, then it's none of their business. It will blow up in his kids' faces when he gets one of his paramours pregnant. Or should I say, another young lady who wants to snag a rich guy and baby trap him? He got a vasectomy. He also wears a condom, so it's really hard for that to happen. So does this mean you can find other lovers? What protections are in place for you, should he decide to upgrade to another woman? I'm saving money. I also have cars and jewelry, houses, which I could sell if I needed to. I would start a business and have him invest in it as an insurance plan, just in case. Get it up and running. You could even hire people to run it, so you have consistent income. I have investments, but that's a good idea as well. My girlfriend, 23 female, is threatening to break up with me over a prank that I, 24 male, pulled on her and her family. Plus 10 updates. Original post. This past weekend was the big camping trip that my girlfriend would be taking with her family. It would consist of her parents, her younger sister, her aunt and uncle, and her 3 cousins. It was a big family trip that had been planned for cooler weather. My girlfriend told me all about where they would be camping, and I decided to take advantage of that knowledge. I visited my girlfriend's house to say goodbye to her and wish her a fun trip. When they all took off in their cars, I got in my car and drove to the campsite where they would be staying. I know the area pretty well, and I was able to find a spot to hide my car from view. I was also able to navigate the woods and keep an eye on them while remaining hidden. When it came nighttime, I put on a Chewbacca costume and ruffled it up a little to make it look wild and untamed. While the family was gathered around the campfire, I started to rustle the bushes. The family noticed, but they didn't think much of it. Then I started to make growling noises. The family was getting noticeably freaked out, and then my girlfriend's uncle started to walk toward where I was hiding. As soon as he got close enough, I jumped out from behind the bushes and started making roaring noises while running around acting like Bigfoot. I shook their tents, threw lawn chairs around, and chased after some of the cousins. I heard my girlfriend's dad yell, "Get the gun," and that's when I knew I had to end the prank. I took off the costume, revealed myself, and the entire family was pissed. Long story short, I got yelled at by almost all of her family, and the noise attracted the campsite manager, who kicked me out after hearing what happened. Today, I heard back from my girlfriend for the first time since the prank, and she said that she's seriously considering breaking up with me. She just said that she needs some time to think and that she'll let me know when she's made her decision. Now I'm just left wondering what to do. I'm thinking that I need to pull off a major apology, and I need some advice on what to say to save this relationship. Since all OP got in the comments were some trashing, let's just read the updates directly. First update. I'm honestly really embarrassed and humiliated about this update. I almost considered not even posting it, but I feel the need to vent and express my frustrations in some way, so here it is. I really hope you don't think too badly of me and understand what I'm going through after last night. Last night, my girlfriend's family was holding a barbecue in their backyard, and my girlfriend was able to talk her dad into inviting me. He was originally against the idea of me coming, but he was willing to let me come, so long as the first thing I did was offer a genuine apology for the prank that I pulled on all of them. I arrived in their backyard, and everyone I had pranked at the campsite was sitting at a table and clearly waiting for me to arrive. I sat down next to my girlfriend and began my apology. I stated that my prank was ill-timed, immature, and thoughtless, and I apologized for ruining their camping trip that they had apparently been planning for some time. I tried to make it as genuine and sincere as possible, and when I was done, I waited for some type of response. There was a really long, awkward silence as the whole family just stared at me. Then the uncle whispered something in the dad's ear, and they both burst out laughing, but I couldn't make out what he said. The dad then said that he didn't accept my apology and told me to leave. My initial response was a very loud, "What the f***?" And that made things worse. My girlfriend's dad kept telling me to leave, and I lost my temper. I swiped an empty plastic cup off the table and said to the family, "Fine, F all of you," while flipping them off with both middle fingers. As I was leaving the backyard, my girlfriend caught up to me and said that she was breaking up with me. She said I was too immature and impulsive and said she wants me to leave her and her family alone. I tried apologizing to her profusely. I kept saying, "Babe, I'm sorry. Just give me another chance, and I promise I'll be good. I promise." I kept saying this over and over, but she said that she's given me millions of chances and that she can't fix me. She then walked off, and I did something that made things even worse. I yelled at her, called her a B, and then started kicking and punching their wooden fence that separates the front and backyard. I knocked down part of the fence and then I left. All of that happened last night, and I feel like crap. Part of me wants to just give up on her and move on, but I also want to prove to her that I'm capable of changing. I want to promise her no more pranks, and that I'll work on controlling my temper. What do you think I should do? Second update. Long story short, I got in a fight with my girlfriend and her family last night. She's now my ex-girlfriend, and I lashed out and broke down part of their wooden fence that separates the backyard and front yard. Her father hasn't contacted me about it yet, but I'm worried that he's going to come after me eventually. What kind of trouble can I get in? Third update. I'd rather not go into detail on this post, but the reason for the breakup is on my profile and can be read there in another post. Simply put, I can't stop thinking about my ex-girlfriend. I can barely eat, sleep, or do anything that used to make me happy. Last night, I watched my first ever hockey game, and I had been excited about that a few months ago, but now I don't even care. I spent the whole game thinking about my ex and how she broke up with me. She's all I think about right now, and I feel like putting in one last effort to make her see that I'm a better man. What should I say to her? What can I do to get her to come back to me? Fourth update. For those who may or may not know, my girlfriend broke up with me because I pranked her and her family by dressing up as Bigfoot and ruining their camping trip. But I think that since some time has passed, my girlfriend might be in a cooler headspace, and I was thinking of trying to win her back in a clever little way that involves the Bigfoot theme. My idea is to dress up as Bigfoot again, but not to scare anyone. I'm going to dress up, go into her backyard with an old stereo CD player that still works, and play Sorry by Buckcherry. I'll play it loud enough for her to hear, and I'm hoping she'll accept it and see it as a cute apology. I know it sounds a little cliché, the whole stereo outside the window thing, but I'm hoping that the Bigfoot costume might be a new little twist on it, and it'll be my way of apologizing for the Bigfoot prank. What do you think? Fifth update. After reading through some of the responses from yesterday, I decided to just go for it and get it over with. I dressed up in the ruffled-up Chewbacca costume, grabbed the stereo, and walked over to my girlfriend's house at nighttime. We live in the same neighborhood, and there's a shortcut through a little stretch of woods that I take from my place to hers, and that's the route I took last night. I climbed into their backyard and stood in their grass, holding up the stereo while playing the song that I had intended, Sorry by Buckcherry. The problem is that the stereo was an old piece of crap that I dug up from my basement, and the volume wasn't loud at all. It sounded muffled, and I didn't want to risk moving closer to their house in case I was seen. But I wanted something to come from the night, so I set down the stereo and peered into the window that I knew led to my girlfriend's room. My girlfriend was just playing with her phone on her bed, and I just stared into her room for a little while. I guess I was caught up in staring at her since I hadn't seen her in a few weeks, and I didn't realize that I had been staring in there for a long time. I turned to leave, but I saw one of her neighbors out on their porch, looking directly at me, and they were on their phone. My first thought was that they were probably calling the police, and I panicked. I did something really stupid and tried to go into my girlfriend's house by pulling at their back green door, but her mom saw me trying to get in, and she screamed. I then ran back toward the woods and tried to pick up the stereo, but I really hurt my back while bending over, so I just left it in their backyard. The back pain was also shooting down my left leg, and I had to limp away from the house and through the woods back to my house, cussing at myself over how stupid my plan was. The worst part is that this morning, my girlfriend called me and left a message on my phone. She said that she knows it was me at her house and that she's only giving me one final warning before she talks to the police about harassment charges, as well as a restraining order. She says that she's never getting back together with me and told me to move on. Now I'm really depressed, which is how I've been feeling these past few weeks. I'm physically hurting from my back and leg pain, and I'm emotionally hurting from my girlfriend's words. I'm just really upset and angry. What should I do? Sixth update. My ex-girlfriend left me a message on my phone threatening me with a restraining order. It's just a threat at this point, but I still want to know what happens to my record if she were to file one against me. Will it give me a criminal record and officially list me as a stalker? Is it something that appears in a background check? I just want to know how this will affect things like me getting a job or something like that. Would this affect me nationally or just in my hometown of Denver? Seventh update OP posted on legal advice. I won't go into detail, but I left a stereo of mine at my ex-girlfriend's house, and this morning I got a text from her dad. It was a picture of the completely destroyed stereo next to a baseball bat, and the message read, "That's your head if you come near my house again." I want to know if I can actually take action against him for this. He destroyed my stereo and threatened to bash in my head with a baseball bat. What actions can I take? This is all taking place in Denver, Colorado. Eighth update. I've spent the past few weeks thinking about how I can possibly get back together with my ex-girlfriend. I've decided to just move on. She doesn't ever want to get back with me, and I've caused enough trouble with her family as a whole. I need to get over her, and I don't know how. My older brother has a wedding in a few days, and it being a romantic occasion is really going to mess with me emotionally, especially since me and my ex were planning on attending together. It hurt even more to see that my ex was selling her dress and posting about it on Facebook. I can't get over the memories and all the time we've spent together, and it hurts knowing that I lost her because of my immaturity and stupidity. How do I get over her? She's literally the only thing on my mind, and it has to end. Help me out, please. 9th update. OP is back again for more legal advice. I know that most people have seen my previous posts on here regarding me and the issues with my ex-girlfriend and her father. He's already threatened me violently, and as of last night, he's called the cops on me, and now I'm awaiting a court date here in Denver, Colorado. Last night was obviously Halloween. And while I normally don't trick or treat at my age, I ended up taking my little cousin out around the neighborhood while my parents and hers were at a Halloween party. I also figured that I would wear my Chewbacca costume. Since I wanted to dress up and didn't have any other last-minute costumes, we walked around our neighborhood for a little while, and we ended up on the same block as my ex-girlfriend's house. I knew it was only an inevitability that we would cross her house, but I honestly wasn't worried about it. I figured that her dad may not even be out to see us, and all I'm doing is trick-or-treating. We ended up walking by her house, and of course, both of her parents were sitting by their garage with a bowl of candy to hand out. I tried to grab my cousin and make for the opposite direction, but it was too late. I heard my ex's dad yell, "I see you," and he clearly recognized me. I just grabbed my cousin and we made our way back to my house without looking back at my ex's house. We got home, but almost an hour later, the cops arrived and they told me that my ex's dad wants to press charges on me for stalking and harassment. I'm currently awaiting a court date, and I think this is all BS. I didn't have any premeditated plans to go near their house, nor did I have any intent with their property. I was simply trick-or-treating with my cousin, and we just happened to come across their home. The dad simply acts as if he's king of the block and can dictate who walks in the area. What can I do to prepare for my court case? What arguments can I make? I wasn't stalking the house last night, and I wasn't planning on doing anything. I simply walked by it while trick-or-treating, and the dad threw a fit. What can I do? Now for the last update. It's been a little over a month since my girlfriend broke up with me over a prank that was admittedly my fault. It was a dumb, immature move on my part, and I've accepted the consequences. That being said, I'm now in serious legal trouble over what happened a couple of nights ago on Halloween. I ended up walking by her house while taking my cousin trick-or-treating, and her dad saw me. He's now pressing charges for harassment and stalking, and I'm awaiting my court date. Last night, my ex texted me and she was clearly drunk. A lot of her texts were either gibberish or in poor grammar, but I could make out what she was communicating. Basically, she was celebrating me having charges pressed against me, and she was texting stuff like, "I hope you rot in jail and lock him up." I responded with texts of my own. I called her names like the C word and bitch, but she obviously didn't seem fazed. But simply sending her some mean texts isn't enough for me. I honestly think that she has some nerve to kick me while I'm down, while all she has to do is just stay on the sidelines while her daddy does all of the work. I've spent all day thinking about how I can get back at her over this. Part of me thinks that I should just wait until I'm done going to court, but I also want to strike back while the event is still fresh. I'm thinking of one final prank. Now for the comments. This is like reading a choose-your-own-adventure book and purposefully making the worst choices every possible chance you get. He just keeps making it worse. And every step of the way, he upped the ante in the Bigfoot costume. He chose the stupidest thing he could do at each point, then did it in the costume. This was a wild ride, but the absolute best part for me is that this dude found 3 separate occasions to wear a Chewbacca costume in a month. Got dumped, charged and slapped with a restraining order, basically got his butt handed to him, and I just know in my soul that he'll wear it again in a heartbeat. He's going to wear the Chewie costume to court. Last story. My ex wrote me an email I discovered 4 years later. I've had my Gmail since I was a sophomore in high school, so over 10 years. It recently told me that my inbox was completely full, so I went through and deleted emails, but made sure to look through and see if any were considered important. While doing this, I noticed an unopened email from my ex that was sent to me a few months after he broke up with me 4 years ago. The breakup was messy. He ended things because he was too busy for me and had to pick something to let go, which messed me up mentally. A week later, he had a new girlfriend, so if I had seen that email back then, I would have lost my mind, because it took me a long time to get over that. The email starts with him explaining his side, and that he believed the breakup was something we both wanted. He went on to say that he started talking to his girlfriend a few months before he ended things with me due to loneliness, and had no clue he'd like her, so he broke it off with me to be with her. I never knew this was the reason he ended things. He then went on asking why I didn't talk to him anymore, and was hurt I didn't reach out to him for his birthday, and why I wasn't taking this well because he thought I was okay with us breaking up. We were together for 3 years before he ended things. He ended the email asking if we could talk soon about us, and that he wanted us to be civil, and for me to accept changes, but not to forget my best friend. That part really would have messed me up if I had read that months after he ended things. Obviously, I'm not going to respond, and I have no feelings for him whatsoever, nor have any idea what he's up to, but I do find it funny he sent this email months after the breakup and I never saw it until now. I have no clue how I never even saw it, but I'm glad I never did. As far as I know, he is still with that girl. Delete it to make sure your subconscious knows it's a total irrelevance. Enjoy your life. That email is giving, I might have made a mistake, and I want to keep you on the back burner until I've made my final decision. I'm glad you didn't see it. That was a genuine gift from the universe, and also I hope he still regrets his decision. This exactly. The universe is always working for you. I am currently dealing with this back burner BS right now. It's awful, but I think my lesson is to learn how to shield myself, which in turn is the universe working for me. Just nudging me to learn the lesson and do it for myself with the information given.